Small business owners know cutting costs without cutting quality is tough. How do you trim expenses without hurting your business? Easy. Get Spectrum Business. Call 888-489-2212. Switch to Spectrum Business and you can get the best internet and phone services for half of what you're paying today. Cutting costs can be easy when you get Spectrum Business. Just call 888-489-2212. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
There are hundreds of new exclusive stations to check out today.
For summer barbecues,
road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
For every mood, every interest, every passion. By Odyssey. Brought to you in part by Macy's and Geico.
Go to cdc.gov/vaccines for all the latest information. Or call 800-CDC-INFO. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Hey, you have an Alexa? Ask her to play the ticket. Just say, Alexa, play 790 The Ticket. Alexa, volume up. AM 790 The Ticket, an Odyssey station.
Time for the Zaslow Show on AM 790 and FM 104.3 HD2 The Ticket.
790 The Ticket, Zaslow Show. Zaslow on vacation. It's Dan Day hanging out with you, doing a little bit of best of, but still keeping the integrity of the Zaslow Show. So we're going to have Twitter Jam in a little while. We're going to have who's going to win, what we've learned, all the good stuff that we usually do on a Thursday here on the Zaslow Show. But right now, it is time for your chance to win $1,000 in the tickets. $1,000 ballpark cash contest. $1,000 that you can spend wherever you want. Text the word DOOR, D-O-O-R, to 72881. That's D-O-O-R to 72881. DOOR, 72881. And you'll be entered in the contest where you just might win $1,000. DOOR to 72881. This is a national contest. Message and data rates may apply. Sponsored by Anna Har, Anna Jar, and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Let's get to the headlines.
The Ticket is the home of every Miami Heat game.
Rebound, Achua put back inside. Oh, precious move there by Achua.
WAXY South Miami and WSFS HD2 Miramar, an Odyssey station.
Yes, indeed. The Bucks tied up the NBA Finals last night at 2 with a 109-103 victory. Chris Middleton had 40 points, and he spoke with ESPN postgame.
Yes, that's right. I'm here with the 40-point man himself. Chris, walk me through that jumper that you made to put yourselves up and then that block from Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Just staying with it, doing what we do, getting to spots that we're comfortable in, sets that we're comfortable in. And then Giannis, that's what he's been doing all year, coming weak side, blocking shots, altering shots, him and Brook. Giannis been amazing. He didn't have the dominant performance that we're used to seeing, but he did it with the other things tonight, and that's what helped us win.
Well, I'm sure he would say that you were amazing, but what was it like to trade buckets with Devin Booker on a night where you both were just cooking with hot grease?
Man, he had some tough shots. Some very, very tough shots. Contested, double team, double clutch shots. But we just stay with it. Keep trying to make them work. In this end, we just got to do it together. That's the only way we can win.
Chris, this is the second time in these playoffs alone that you guys have come back to tie a series after being down 0-2. What is it about this group that just breeds resilience?
Just staying strong, staying with it, not never getting down. Telling myself we're always in the game no matter what the score until that clock runs out.
This series has been all about the home Warriors. You're going back on the road. What do you need to do to get it done there?
Whatever we're doing here, we got to find a way to do it there. The only way we can win this series is if we get one on the road. It'll be nice to get this next one. But first, we got to get some rest, figure out how to clean up a couple of things, and come out and get ready to go.
Pretty simple. Road team pretty much going to win the series. The first team that wins on the road pretty much going to win this series. Richard Sherman was arrested yesterday after crashing his SUV into construction zone, then attempting to break into his in-laws' house. The free agent cornerback was charged with burglary, domestic violence. The Marlins remain on the All-Star break. They resume play tomorrow at 4 in Philadelphia. The Open in Great Britain began today at the Royal St. George Golf Course. These updates are brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction, 1,000%, why not, guarantee. Serving golfers around the country since 1968. Now, let's go ahead and relax. Take a step into the day spa. Hawaii will hold a special lottery to distribute goats away from a national park where they are considered an invasive species. A goat lottery? Nah. That's the day spa for you. Zaslow, you know, he's a Renaissance man. He recently got into it with myself about, is it a film or is it a movie?
Watch. Did I tell you? I don't know. Maybe I didn't get around to this. I'm not sure. But over the weekend, I saw the movie The Tomorrow War. You know what The Tomorrow War is?
No.
That's on Amazon Prime. Didn't I explain it to you where you had no idea what Amazon Prime is? That was on Amazon Prime over the weekend, and it just came out. It's a Prime original movie. It's with Chris Pratt. All right, remember he's Parks and Recreation, Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris Pratt stars in it, where they are, he's a regular family man, and then all of a sudden these people this army comes from the future and tells the world that they're fighting a war 30 years from now against aliens, and they're losing. So they need to bring more soldiers. They need more fighters. So people from the present have to travel to the future and fight the war. You understand what I'm saying here? It's not that complicated. The Tomorrow War. It came out this weekend with Chris Pratt. And that kind of movie is right up my alley. See, I've changed when it comes to movies now with age, all right? You would figure maybe I'd be a little bit more highbrow as I've gotten older, because I love movies. I'm into movies. I've always been a movie guy. You'd figure you get a little bit more highbrow as you get older. I've gotten more lowbrow as I've gotten older, okay? When I was younger, I only wanted to watch, like, the movies that are, considered, like, great films, I'm not like that anymore. I told you. I saw that Fast and the Furious movie. That movie's ridiculous. Loved it, all right? I just want to be entertained at this point. I'm just looking to have a good time for 2 hours and not think about anything else. And I love time travel. I'm way into time travel movies. This movie's got time travel. It's got action, obviously. Aliens, killing aliens. Chris Pratt, everybody likes him. He makes funny jokes. J.K. Simmons is in it. Who doesn't like J.K. Simmons, okay? What an actor he is. You ever seen the movie Whiplash, Dan Day, with J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller, where he is the band instructor at some fancy music college? You ever seen Whiplash?
No, I have not. Sounds good, though.
Oh, you don't even know what I'm talking about? You're not even. Oh, what a great movie, okay? Go see Whiplash. Great movie. Anyway, I think he won the Academy Award for Whiplash. Anyway, The Tomorrow War. I highly recommend The Tomorrow. Did anyone see it? Text in the show, 786-360-0790. If you have Amazon Prime, it came out over the weekend. The Tomorrow War. Yes, in order to get the people to come back with them to the future, and fight this war, they have like a draft. Okay, they get drafted. So obviously, spoiler alert, Chris Pratt's character gets drafted. So he has to leave his family to go travel into the future 30 years later to help fight this war against these aliens. This movie was awesome. I told you, I've gotten to this point in my life, I just want to be entertained for 2 hours. I don't need to hear about, but this wasn't realistic, but what about this, but the acting wasn't great. Was the movie fun, okay? Did it have action? Did they crack a few jokes? Especially if there's time travel, I'm way in on that. Was the movie enjoyable? That's why I told you. When I saw a couple years ago that movie Hobbs and Shaw, from the Fast and Furious movie, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I'm being serious. Hobbs and Shaw is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's so enjoyable. I just want to see movies that are fun, okay? I'm down with the good film as well. Dan, you know the difference between a film and a movie, right? You know the difference, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
talking about?
A film is like Clockwork Orange, a piece of artwork, while a movie is just like fun. Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah. See, when I was younger, this is something that's changed about me as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I wanted to see more films, less movies, okay? And now, I don't know, maybe part of it is because of all the superhero movies. I mean, those are the most popular movies out there. Everybody knows that. And those are movies. Those aren't films, okay? But now, I'm more into movies than I am films. Like, when I was younger, if a film I'd see a preview for, I gotta get out and see that film. But now, I don't know. I don't have the time to go see a film anymore. But that movie, oh, that movie looks fun. I'll go see a movie these days in the movie theater. I don't know. I've changed like that. Wouldn't you think it'd be the other way around? As I've gotten older, maybe I have more of an appreciation, if you will, for films. Because like every year, the Oscars come around, Academy Awards. I haven't seen any of these movies. I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to know all the movies that were nominated for Best Picture. Nowadays, day and day, I don't know any of the movies.
Yeah, I would think the older you get, you want to watch like foreign films and pieces of art, film noir. But no, you want rock'em sock'em,
movies.
Wham bam, thank you ma'am movies.
Maybe part of that is because like I like watching it with my boys, like I like watching it with the kids, and they're not going to watch like these films, you know? So maybe it's more up the Zaslow family's alley to watch these movies. But yeah, I just want to watch fun stuff. And the Tomorrow War, that movie's really good. Like I'll bet right now, if I go onto Rotten Tomatoes, I'll bet the Tomorrow War has a low score on the media score, and I'll bet the audience score is very high. Okay, let's test this theory out, okay? Because the critics are going to tell you, this movie's not that good. But people watching it like me are like, movie's awesome, The Tomorrow War. All right, let's see. Yep, I was spot on, Dan Day. You ready? The media score for The Tomorrow War, 53%. So they're telling you it's average. They're not telling you it's bad, but they're telling you it's an average movie. The audience score for The Tomorrow War, 82%. Very high. That movie's awesome. That was one of the most fun movies I've seen in a really long time. I love that movie, The Tomorrow War. 786-360-0790. You feel me?
I'm feeling Zaslow right there. Films are films. Movies are movies. What more can I say? Zaslow, we got more of the best of coming up. Also, we're going to have some new stuff as always. So please just keep it going. We're going to be focused. We're going to have fun. And we are going to be with you next here.
Small business owners know cutting costs without cutting quality is tough. How do you trim expenses without hurting your business? Easy. Get Spectrum Business. Call 888-489-2212. Switch to Spectrum Business and you can get the best internet and phone services for half of what you're paying today. Cutting costs can be easy when you get Spectrum Business. Just call 888-489-2212. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
There are hundreds of new exclusive stations to check out today.
For summer barbecues,
road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
For every mood, every interest, every passion. By Odyssey. Brought to you in part by Macy's and Geico.
On the Zaslow Show, 790 The Ticket.
The Zaslow Show on AM 790 and FM 1043, HD2 The Ticket, and streaming on the Odyssey app.
Staying dollars. Hey. Overflow of success, so unapologetic. Scared money make none, tell them dollars said it. If I ever had to fail or come up short, I move forward, not abort. Cause the mission to drill for me like a sport, I only see the bigger picture. Nothing minor or miniature. And if you petty, I probably miss you. If you deadly, I might dismiss you. You try to check me, you get your issue. Usually when they
790 The Ticket. This is the Zaslow Show. Zaslow remains on vacation. No worries, though. We have got you covered with some of his best of, and also going to keep the form of the show. So in just a little bit, we are going to be doing some Twitter jam, looking into what happened last night in the NBA Finals. Right now, speaking of NBA, Dame Dalla, a.k.a. Damian Lillard. It is his birthday today. He is 31 years old. Not just a great basketball player. Hopefully he stays in Portland because I really like the Portland Trailblazers, but also a pretty good rapper.
I'm not a dummy. I was smart when money was funny. I needed a chef, I hired my cousin Punky. Bloodline on my back like me for some monkey. I get in my truest form when I'm feeling spunky.
Got some good editing right there, too. All right, hit me up on social media at Dan Day Radio. Always checking on that. And you can also hit us up on the text line, 786-360-0790. Speaking of birthdays, though, friend of the show, John Crotty. He's from Heat TV. He was a baller back in the day. He can probably still ball. He's 52, so I figured why not replay one of his best interviews recently with Zaslow. So let him take it away.
Our pal is Heat TV color analyst John Crotty. John, does the home run derby, Shohei Ohtani, does that get your attention at all tonight?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm such a basketball guy. I've been locked in. I watched the finals game again last night, and I've been watching some soccer too. Man, it's a pretty exciting game yesterday. Looking at that England-Italy game.
Do you? I'm way into the soccer also. Do you like how they end it with the penalty kicks, or does that rub you the wrong way?
No, I think. Look, I get you got to do it, and you have to have closure. It could go on forever, particularly the other games, but this is the final. I mean, to me, I would just keep having them play sudden death until someone scored. It sounds crazy, but I would be like, look, at some point, if it gets to be so negative, I'd just say take a break, come back, and do it again tomorrow, and the next team that wins scores. Because to have it come down to penalty kicks, to me, is just it's unfair to the losing team to go that far and have that happen. It really is.
Can you help explain something to me? Because this is especially apparent when it comes to soccer, where all the other countries, not that we don't care about the U.S. team here, but all the other countries, like Argentina winning Saturday, Italy winning on Sunday, it's such a big deal where, if the Miami Heat, all right, we're playing an exhibition game, a friendly, against the U.S. men's basketball team, the team that actually played the exhibition yesterday. Like, if the Miami Heat were playing them, I want the Miami Heat to win by 100. I would never root against my club team. But it's not like that with soccer, where if, like, Man United was playing the England national team, everyone's rooting for England. Like, why do you think there's a difference like that?
I can't explain that. I mean, there's just such tremendous it's such tremendous nationalism. I mean, about midway through my basketball career, I played in Italy and got to go to 2 live games there, and just the level of, pride that people have. The opposing team comes in a caravan waving their flags and their colors, and each city takes such great pride, and the team is really the focal point. That is the number one, thing that they take pride in, because it's just got such a presence. There's nothing else that is more popular and has a bigger platform than that sports team in that area. So it just shows the overall nationalistic pride, and what competition there's been lately. I mean, and seeing Messi finally be able to win, and in Argentina for his team after five runner-ups or something crazy like that.
Can you imagine? How about the kid yesterday for England who took the last shot that ended up getting saved? 19 years old. John, I felt so terrible for that kid. I can't even imagine 19 years old and being in that situation.
It's awful. I mean, it really is. There's so much pressure on those guys. Again, to me, it shouldn't come down to that. I mean, it just shouldn't. It should be played out on the field. I mean, and they've gone through so many series of games to get up to that point. It just shouldn't be. It should not be resolved that way. I get doing some of the earlier games that way, because you gotta do it in a timely fashion, but man, in the finals, it just doesn't seem right. It really doesn't.
It'd be like if in the NBA finals, we're tied after 5 minutes overtime, we do a free throw contest.
I know, or free throw, or straight away 3-point.
Yeah,
maybe a 3-point shot. Top it, straight away, which would be insane. It'd be. I mean, look, it's must-see type TV. I'm not going to say I don't like watching the shootout, but I mean, with the goalies and the soccer one are just, I mean, they're gambling and diving.
Yep.
And if they guess right, even if you hit a good shot, it doesn't matter. It's pretty interesting dynamic.
We got John Crotty, Heat TV color analyst, joining us here. We didn't bring him on to talk about soccer, though. We're going to talk about the finals from last night. Hey, I think that no matter what happens the rest of the way with this series, Giannis has been a player over the last couple years because his teams have been in first place regular season the last 2 years before this year, where there's a lot of pressure on him, a lot of pressure to win. He's never won the championship. I think that no matter what happens the rest of the way with these finals, Giannis has been so good and so unbelievable this entire postseason, and now the finals where it's like you're watching Shaq, okay? The numbers that he's putting up, it's Shaq. And I think that no matter what happens the rest of these finals, I think Giannis is off the hook, where I don't think he's going to get criticism if the Bucks lose. What do you think about that?
I agree. I mean, I think it's, to me, the natural progression he's made has been really impressive. And to me, it's been the more traditional approach you've seen from teams that struggle, right? They put it together, they have a good regular season, they get into the playoffs and they stumble, and they have that one team or two teams that they can't get through to break through and be a champion. And they've gone through that. The Bucks have had incredible disappointment with, most recently with the Heat, taking them apart last year. And then, this and the year before they lose as well. And, this year they break through and they get to the finals. And they've got a guy in Giannis now who believes, I think initially when he was the MVP, he knew he was a good player, but it was a lot for him to kind of realize, holy moly, I'm the top guy in the game. He's much more comfortable in that role and in his skin right now, and you're seeing it. I mean, he's performing at a crazy efficient level. That his ability to score in the paint is amazing. There's been no other player that I can recall that isn't a gigantic physical post player like a Shaq, who's backing people down and catching it so deep in the post to shoot it as efficiently as he is. And he's doing it off the dribble and spinning and backing in and using that length and playing at a high level where he's getting others involved too. I mean, look, the Bucks are a team that we felt like, look, you remember, I remember hearing on your show when we spoke, I mean, when after those first two games against the Nets, it was like, oh my God, what's this team how are they gonna ever come back? And they've rallied and they've done what they're supposed to do, right? They came back and won their game at home, and they're going to have to do that again, and then steal one on the road in Phoenix. But this is a team that's battle tested, and I think when they get their guards playing, like Chris Middleton, like Drew Holiday, who shot the ball much better, those two guys, that takes more of the pressure off Giannis as well. And that's a great recipe for victory for the Bucks.
I was talking about this earlier in the show here, where after Game 2 and Phoenix is up 2-0, I had a real problem with a lot of the national analysis, just throwing the blame at Mike Budenholzer, which seems just so lazy. It's such lazy analysis that the coach is not making adjustments, all that nonsense. And it's like, look, this really isn't that difficult, okay? It really is a make-or-miss league. And you look at those first two games, and the top three guys for Phoenix, Booker, Paul, Ayton, they were really good in those two games. And then especially you look at Game 2, where Giannis is doing his thing, and Holiday and Middleton combined to shoot 11 for 37. And you can't win like that. And then yesterday, Holiday and Middleton were 14 for 28. I mean, what was the adjustment Budenholzer made? He told those guys to make shots?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your point there. I think defensively they were better on Devin Booker too. I thought they contested him a little more effectively, pushed him out a bit. He didn't shoot the ball well beyond the arc as a result. And Milwaukee shoots the ball extremely well beyond the arc, particularly at home. And they did that again in the game last night. They look really good. And they need, look, this game, one player can make a huge difference. And we've seen that with Giannis with a couple 40-point games. But it can't just be him. It's got to be other guys stepping up and making shots and making plays too. And I thought Middleton and Holiday were those guys in the game last night.
What is it about the home court in the postseason where, look, star players, guys like Giannis, they're going to perform well wherever they are, okay? But role players, guys like yourself, you played in the league for a very long time. John, you were a role player. You came off the bench. You did your job. But what is it about, guys like yourself where you're in the postseason and they just perform better in front of their home crowd at home? Is too much made of that? Like, why do role players shoot so much better at home?
I think it's comfort level. I think it's frequency of being in the building. It's, you're there for shoot-arounds in the morning throughout the course of the season. You're comfortable with the backdrop. You're comfortable with the surroundings. Maybe focus is a little bit better. Obviously, it just depends on the guy. Whereas when you're in a hostile building and people are yelling and screaming, it's amazing the level of focus that most players have. But, there are times where you get out of your mind a bit and you start hearing everything. You get the rabbit ears going and people start, impacting your performance or, at times the game changes and you can't get into rhythm. I think that's a big part of it, particularly if you're a role player, meaning your minutes are not the same that they typically are. The offense isn't flowing when you're coming in to be able to, contribute the way you can. It becomes more of an isolation game and other guys can't, get integrated into the offense as smoothly, and that happens more often than not on the opposing team's floor because they tend to be a little more physical too, I think. This is a pretty unique situation when I look at the Final Four teams and now the finals. I mean, look, if the Heat aren't going to be involved in this, it's interesting to see all this fresh blood, I call it, of guys getting a chance, right, on this platform. They've never been there before, and seeing how they respond and, getting Chris Paul in after, 16 years of never being to the finals, and now Giannis after, 2-3 years of having a struggle to get there. And, it's really compelling because there's a big difference, I think, from what I've seen, the guys that have been there and the comfort level of being there, Zaz, to your point, and being able to play on the road in big games in the finals versus, everybody's first time.
Do you think we may be able to see this more often where, like you said, you look at the Final Four teams, those are teams that you would never expect to win a championship. Throw Atlanta and the Clippers in the mix here with these two. And right. I've loved it. I think it's a lot of fun getting fresh teams here. Like, do you think it's a one-off kind of deal, or maybe we could see this a little more often?
It's hard to tell. I think, look, it gives them, they're going to play with more confidence next year, and they're going to, having been there, when you look at an Atlanta Hawks team or even the Clippers and have to do what they did without Kawhi, I think that strengthens the team. It says, hey, look, we've been there, we can do it, we want to get back. It creates a hunger that it's possible. When I see Phoenix, it's shocking to me. I couldn't think of a team, I haven't really looked it up, but who hasn't made the playoffs turn around and go to the finals the next year. When does that happen? That's an interesting story too. And, what they have going with the young nucleus of players they have there and adding a veteran guy and what a difference that can make, when you add the right veteran guy and not someone who's maybe, going to negatively impact some of your players, but really get them to play, at their best level and maybe higher than their best level because they're playing as a group. And that's what I think Chris Paul's able to do. And I think Coach Monty Williams has done a very good job, too, in a short period of time of getting some of these younger players to maximize their skill set. And then getting back to Budenholzer, you talked about, Mike Budenholzer is an excellent coach. Yeah. He is a guy who got it done in Atlanta, coming from the Spurs background, and then Milwaukee. He gets teams playing together. He made a big adjustment against our team this year, putting the ball more in some other guys' hands offensively, and then defensively. I thought having Giannis guard Jimmy Butler, against the Heat, I thought they never played him the year before, and Miami took them apart. I thought Giannis, did impact Jimmy with his length. Those types of moves. And his ability to get guys to be on the same page. That's the hardest thing, I think, for any NBA coach to do. Get players to be unselfish in a league where if you score more points and you get more shots to score more points, that's how you make, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's hard to have guys set that aside and play as one.
John, did you watch any McGregor on Saturday night? Did you watch UFC?
I didn't see it live, but I was keeping tabs of it, and I was sorry to see it end the way it did. I am partial to him as a fan, but just it was sort of unresolved the way the whole thing happened with the ankle injury, a horrible injury. But you just wanted to see some clarity one way or another. I'm sure there'll be a fourth about when it all's said and done.
John, excellent job. Who do you have winning this series? Who did you think before the series started?
I still think Milwaukee. I look, they're down 2-1. Obviously, I still like them, and I'm going to stay with that. I really think the Suns have surprised me with how well they've played. Ayton in particular, we haven't talked about him yet. I think he has come along much further than I thought in a short period of time. And Devin Booker, to me, is taken on that role of being a star without being a volume scorer. Chris Paul has made him a better player. So I think, they're a really good team, but I just think the Bucks, they've been through more adversity, and if they can win this next game, it'll be really interesting to see how this series shakes out. So I'm going to stay with them.
John, excellent job. Appreciate you, man. Good catching up. You getting away a little bit? Summer of karate? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I'm having some fun, Zaz. Getting out of town, doing a little fun stuff, getting some Bahamas spearfishing, getting a little surfing in Costa Rica, and a little golf here and there. So I'm having some fun, man.
Good job, man.
Gotta do it.
Good job. Appreciate you. We'll talk soon, John.
Take care, guys.
That's what I'm talking about. My man, John Crotty, with his 52nd birthday today. Hopefully he's doing some spearfishing, doing some surfing, having a few beers, having a good time. Zazzle not having a great time. He's on the road right now, bringing his kids to camp. We're going to continue to relive some of the glory that is the best of the Zaslow Show, and also just kind of keep to the form of the show. Going to get into some Twitter jam in just a little bit about last night's NBA Finals. Of course, you can get in 786-360-0790. Next, more of the Zaslow Show here on 790 The Ticket. Hour 2 of the Zaslow Show. I am Dan Day on social media at Dan Day Radio. Zaslow, no, he's not having technical difficulties from home. He has returned to the studio, and as he returns to the studio, he decides to go on vacation. Yes, that's right. He's bringing his kids to camp, so I'll be riding solo today, doing a little bit of the best of, while keeping, of course, with the show and exactly how it goes. We're going to have the headlines at the top of the hour. We're also going to be doing some Twitter jam next hour. Fourth hour, we're going to be doing Who's Going to Win. Also, maybe go with a little bit of what we learned. But right now, I want to say, hey, folks, by now, you're probably familiar with the Lou Back Row song. Louie, Louie, oh, yeah, Louie, Louie. Who doesn't know that song and love it? Sing it to myself all the time. Well, check this out. Lou Back Row is having a contest to see who can best perform the jingle, and the winner gets a brand new Chevy Trax. That's right, a brand new vehicle. For real. So break out the phone. TikTok, I love that TikTok. Sing the tune and tag them at Go to Lou Contest. That's GOTOLOU Contest on Facebook for your chance to win a brand new Chevy Trax. Can't wait to see all those videos. Remember, tag Go to Lou. Make that video. They make it simple. You can find it on their website. Just go to the Lou Back Row website. You can get on it, get that video made, and get that brand new Chevy Trax. Ooh. Enjoying this track right here, some Jane's Addiction Mountain Song. I always love some Jane's Addiction. Perry Farrell, one of my heroes. Absolutely just good stuff. Great stuff. Love it all the time. Yes, indeed. Of course, Zaslow, not with us right now. He'll be back sometime next week, but we're still reliving some of the glory that is the Zaslow Show while maintaining the integrity of the show, keeping the regular segments going, and doing all that good stuff. The NBA Finals finally had a really good game last night. There was a lot of explosions when it comes to fouls, points, breakout performances. Chris Paul, maybe not so much. Nonetheless, Zazzlow's not hating. He's loving watching these finals, and he pretty much predicted that earlier.
I think this could be a great finals. I think with or without Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is doubtful for tonight, I have a very hard time believing that we're not going to see him at some point in this series, even if it is, we can get to game 3, get to game 4. He's like, I got to try it. I got to try. It's like Goran Dragic last year, where Goran gets hurt in game 1 and he comes back in game 6. I got to try. I think it was game 6 that he returned, right? I got to try. I got to get out there. I have a very hard time believing that we're not going to see. I know some people are like, I'd be surprised if we saw Giannis at all this series. I'd be surprised if we don't see Giannis this series. After everything leading up to this point, he signs the new contract, they get to the finals, and he's not going to even give it a go. How could how could you not think that he's going to show up at some point in this series? Now, he's not going to be 100%. If we're going into game one tonight and he's doubtful, there's no way you're going to go from being doubtful in game one to at some point being 100% or close to 100%. That's not going to be the case. But I have a really difficult time believing we are not going to see Giannis at some point. I think he'll miss the first couple games. I think by the time you get to Milwaukee, because the schedule is a little bit spread out, okay? Game 1 tonight, game 2 Thursday. The next game is Sunday. So I don't think we're going to see Giannis until game 3 on Sunday. That gives him some extra time off. They're not there trying to buy time and they're punting games, but he's not going to be healthy. He's not going to be close to 100%. I don't think you're going to see him until game 3. You got the home crowd behind you at that point. There's an emotional boost. And again, like I said, the schedule is spread out. Tuesday, Thursday's game 1, then games 3 and 4. Sunday, Wednesday, game 5 then is the following Sunday. So what has been a day on, day off, the NBA postseason so far, the finals are very spread out. All right.
Game 1 NBA Finals tonight. Bucks take on the Suns at 9. Despite good progress, Giannis is doubtful to play, and of course, Charles Barkley had to weigh in.
I hate to say this. I think the best thing happened to the Milwaukee Bucks was Giannis getting hurt, because they have unleashed Drew Holiday, the aggressive Drew Holiday. I think he's going to be fantastic in the finals against Chris Paul, as much as I love Chris Paul. If Giannis is 85 to 90%, I'm going to go with Milwaukee.
Yeah, I would too, but there's no way that Giannis is going to be 85 to 90% for exactly what I just told you. You can't have Giannis doubtful for game 1. Doubtful. It's the finals. And it's going to be, the third game in a row that he misses. You can't have Giannis doubtful for game 1 and then think that, okay, we will get to a point in the series where he's going to be 90% healthy. No, if that were the case, I think you'd see him tonight, okay? That sounds like, right around now he's about 50%, but in a few games he'll be about 90%. If Giannis was 50%, he'd be playing tonight, all right? I think we'll get to a point in the series, I think it's going to be game 3, where Giannis will be around 50%, and that's why he's going to play. But if Giannis were going to be able to get to 90% at some point this series, he'd be playing tonight. You may continue.
Blessing in disguise, Charles Barkley saying you're MVP.
You know what's the best thing that could happen to us is if our best player gets hurt. No, that's not the best thing that could happen, okay? But I understand what he's saying to the point where it's like, hey, Drew, listen, you're capable of this. Hey, Middleton, listen, you're capable of this. And then Giannis returns. It's not the best thing that could happen to them if Giannis gets hurt and never returns. No, but if Giannis gets hurt, the other guys get their confidence, and then Giannis comes back, then I could see the point that Barkley's making. I think that's what he's trying to say, because he said, even if we get Giannis back 90%. Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. I don't think he's saying that Giannis is never going to return, and that's the best thing. I think he's saying that Giannis has to miss a few games. The other guys, they get their confidence, they get into their groove, and then you add the best player. I think that's what he's talking about, but I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Some of that was loud right, some of that loud wrong. Nonetheless, Zaslow always weighing in, and we're going to weigh in the next hour. We're going to have that cash word for you. Also, Twitter Jam on last night's breakout game in the finals for Devin Booker, and maybe CP3 not showing up as much. Zaslow remains on vacation for a while. I am Dan Day, going to be filling in, doing the best of, but also kind of doing the regular Zaslow show thing. A yin and a yang to all that. You can get on the text line 786-360-0790. We'll be back after this.
Small business owners know cutting costs without cutting quality is tough. How do you trim expenses without hurting your business? Easy. Get Spectrum Business. Call 888-489-2212. Switch to Spectrum Business and you can get the best internet and phone services for half of what you're paying today. Cutting costs can be easy when you get Spectrum Business. Just call 888-489-2212. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
There are hundreds of new exclusive stations to check out today.
For summer barbecues,
road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
For every mood, every interest, every passion. By Odyssey. Brought to you in part by Macy's and Geico.